We live in exciting times, with technological developments transforming the world around us as never before. Indians are not only taking good advantage of these developments, but also have become significant actors in the field of information technology. Significantly, India is also very much a part of the revolution taking place in the field of biotechnology.
ಮನೆ ಕೆಲಸ ಎಲ್ಲ ಅಡಿಗೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಆಮೇಲೆ ಇದು ಬೀಡಿ ಕೆಲಸ.
ಬೀಡಿ ಕೆಲಸ. ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ ನಿಮಗೆ? ಬೀಡಿ ಹೇಗೆ ಇದು ಕಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಅಥವಾ?
ಕಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಅಂತ ಇಲ್ಲ, ನಮಗೆ 1000ಕ್ಕೆ 52 ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ.
1000 ಬೀಡಿಯನ್ನು ಕಟ್ಟಿದ್ರೆ 52 ರೂಪಾಯಿ ನಿಮಗೆ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ.
ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನೀವು ಮನೆ ಕೆಲಸ, ಅಡಿಗೆ ಕೆಲಸ, ಮಕ್ಕಳದ್ದು ಮನೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕೆಲಸ
ಮಾಡಿ ಈಗ ಆಗುದಿಲ್ಲ ನನಗೆ ಅಷ್ಟು ಕಟ್ಟಲಿಕ್ಕೆ. ಈಗ ಒಂದು 500 ಬೀಡಿ ಕಟ್ತೇನೆ ಅಷ್ಟೇ.
To turn this around, there is a need to enhance productivity and profitability, quality and sustainability of our agriculture, animal husbandry, fisheries, closely tied to the resources of their environment to fulfill many of the requirements. Prudent management of natural resources, local level value addition, recognition to folk knowledge are the appropriate means through which the benefits of application of such measures could reach the ecosystem people. Homogenization of the environmental regime or control and command approach to natural resources have serious shortcomings. For example, large tracts of farmlands have become unproductive due to waterlogging or severe micronutrient deficiencies and chemicalized agriculture, leading to escalation of pests and disease outbreaks. Similarly, our forest resources have been overexploited, landing villagers into deep trouble. Many of our marine fish stocks also have declined, impoverishing country-boat fishermen and depriving large numbers of people of a cheap source of protein. It is therefore quite clear that our ecological systems, being quite complex, the management calls for a detailed locality-specific understanding of these systems.
ರಾತ್ರಿ ಹಗಲು 4 ತಿಂಗಳು 5 ತಿಂಗಳಿಗೆ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಬೋಟು ನೆಲೆಯಾಗಿ ಉರ್ತದೆ, ಮನೆ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಸಮುದ್ರದಲ್ಲಿ ಮೊಟ್ಟೆ ಇಡುವ ಮೀನು ಬದಿಗೆ ಬರ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಅವ್ರು ಬಿಡುದಿಲ್ಲ. ಕಾರಣ ಇಷ್ಟೇ, ಅವರು ಬಿಡುದಿಲ್ಲ ಬರ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ. ಅದರ ಇಂಗಿನ ಅವಜಿಗೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ಈ ಆಯಿಲ್ ವಾಸನೆಗೆಲ್ಲ ಮೀನೆಲ್ಲ ಮೊಟ್ಟೆ ಇಡುವ ಮೀನು ಬರುದಿಲ್ಲ. ಅದು ಪಡ್ಲಾಗಿ ಹೋಗಿ ಅವರೆಲ್ಲ ಹಿಡಿತಾರೆ. ನಮ್ಗೆ ಈಗ ಈ ನಾಡದೋಣಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗುವವರಿಗೆ ಏನು ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಸಿಗುದಿಲ್ಲ. ಅವ್ರು ಗೌರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅವರನ್ನು ನಿಲ್ಲಿಸಬೇಕು. ಹೋಗುವವರನ್ನು ಮಳೆಗಾಲಕ್ಕೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮಲ್ಪೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗ್ತಾರೆ, ಅವರನ್ನು ಹೇಳ್ಬೇಕು, ಅವರು ನಿಲ್ಲಿಸಬೇಕು. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಸಬ್ಸಿಡಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕೊಡದೆ ಅವರಿಗೆ ನಿಲ್ಲಿಸಬೇಕು. ಆದ್ರೆ ಮಾತ್ರ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬದಿಗೆ ಮೀನು ಬರ್ತದೆ.
The status and the dynamics of the local ecosystems resides with people who depend on them for their day-to-day sustenance. It is therefore advisable to involve these people in a scientific enterprise. Supplies of nearly 700 out of 776 Indian plant species used commercially for preparation of medicines still come from natural populations. There is no proper information on their current status and levels of overexploitation with either the government or the pharmaceutical industry. It is either with the local forest produce collectors or with folk practitioners of herbal remedies. Similarly, there is no proper information on the status of the indigenous fish tuna of our fresh waters. Yet, such fish constitute an important source of protein, especially for the weaker sections of society. The only source of information is with our native fisher folk. Management of natural resources in a decentralized way, respecting the diversity of life, ecosystems, people, and their traditions, must be preferred to the control and command mentality. It is advisable to adopt share and inform, promote and facilitate approach. The crux of complex systems lies in details, and to arrive at solutions, we must fine-tune to locality and time-specific contexts. This will enable us to evolve a broad-based participatory science. The Biological Diversity Act 2002 has created space for a significant transition in management of ecosystems and practice of science. This ambitious act aims to promote conservation, sustainable use, and equitable sharing of benefits of India's biodiversity resources, including habitats, cultivars, domesticated stocks, and breeds of animals and microorganisms.
The Biological Diversity Act will try to build on India's democratic institutions to draw all of the Indian people into taking good care of biological diversity riches of our country. So we visualize a whole series of levels from the country to the state to the district to taluk and the gram panchayats or municipal corporations or municipalities, which will establish biological diversity management committees to look after the biodiversity resources at the respective territorial level.
ದಶಂಬರ ತಿಂಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಬಹಳ ಮಹತ್ವದ ಮಸೂದೆ ಲೋಕಸಭೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಮತ್ತು ರಾಜ್ಯಸಭೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಪಾಸಾಯಿತು. ಅದನ್ನು ಜೀವ ವೈವಿಧ್ಯ ಮಸೂದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. 2002 ಬಯಾಲಜಿಕಲ್ ಡೈವರ್ಸಿಟಿ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಟ್ ಲೋಕಸಭೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ದಶಂಬರ 2ನೇ ತಾರೀಕಿಗೂ ರಾಜ್ಯಸಭೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ದಶಂಬರ 11ನೇ ತಾರೀಕಿಗೂ ಅದು ಪಾಸಾಗಿ ಇವತ್ತು ಅದು ಕಾನೂನಾಗಿದೆ, ಒಂದು ಕಾಯ್ದೆ ಆಗಿದೆ.
The National Biodiversity Authority and the State Biodiversity Boards shall consult the Biodiversity Management Committees while taking any decision relating to the use of biological resources and knowledge associated with such resources occurring within the territorial jurisdiction of the Biodiversity Management Committee.
ಮತ್ತು ಬೇರೆ ಆಚೆನವರು ಹೊರಗಿನವರು ಯಾರು ಬಂದು ಆ ಜೀವ ವೈವಿಧ್ಯದ ಏನಾದರೂ ಬಳಕೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದರೆ ಅದರ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಏನಾದರೂ ಫೀ ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ.
There is also a provision for the BMCs to levy charges by way of collection fees from any person for accessing or collecting any biological resource for commercial purposes from areas falling within its territorial jurisdiction. There shall also be constituted a local biodiversity fund to receive grants or loans from National Biodiversity Authority and the State Biodiversity Board or fees received by the BMC. The main function of the BMC is to prepare People's Biodiversity Register, the PBR, in consultation with local people. The register will contain comprehensive information on availability and knowledge of local biological resources, their medicinal or any other use, or any other traditional knowledge associated with them.
ಸಮಿತಿಯ ಮೂಲ ಉದ್ದೇಶ ಆಚರಣೆ ಹೇಳಿದಾಗ ಜೀವವೈವಿಧ್ಯ ನಿರ್ವಹಣೆ ಮತ್ತು ಸಂರಕ್ಷಣೆ ಇದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಬರ್ತದೆ. ಬಹುಶಃ ಅವರ ಮುಖಾಂತರ ಸಮಿತಿ ಹೇಗಿರಬೇಕು, ಯಾವ್ಯಾವ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿಗಳು ಇರಬೇಕು ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ.
People's Biodiversity Register is a document that should facilitate knowledge-based management of agriculture, livestock, fish, forest, and public health to enhance the quality of life of the community members. It should also help conserve knowledge associated with biodiversity and add value to it. The People's Biodiversity Register brings together people linked in many different ways to the resources of their environment. To help in this endeavor, the community members may be assigned to a number of user groups. After identifying the most knowledgeable individuals, both men and women, from each group, induct them as members of the PBR study panel along with interested teachers, students, women's self-help groups and concerned officials such as panchayat secretaries, forest guards, agricultural assistants and the like. The PBR exercise will be an innovative enterprise bringing together knowledge of the local people with scientific basis. The technical inputs may be derived from a variety of sources such as agricultural universities, farm clinics, research institutes like FRLHT, Institute of Medicinal and Aromatic Plants, etc. The PBR exercises may be initiated with the help of local high school teachers along with the knowledge of local community members. Efforts also must be made at the state and national levels to develop resource material, training modules, network of experts and technical institutions to support PBR activities everywhere. And a database designed to organize the locally collected PBR information and link it to a broader networked biodiversity information system.
ಗ್ರಾಮ ಮಟ್ಟದಲ್ಲಿ ನಡೆಯುವ ಕಾರಣವಾಗಿ ಗ್ರಾಮ ಮಟ್ಟದಲ್ಲಿ ಅನೇಕ ಜ್ಞಾನ ಸಂಪನ್ನರು, ನಾಟ್ಯ ವೈದ್ಯರುಗಳು ಅಥವಾ ಕೃಷಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಜ್ಞಾನ ಸಂಪನ್ನರು, ಅನೇಕ ಥರದ ಜ್ಞಾನ ಸಂಪನ್ನರು ಇರ್ತಾರೆ. ಅಲ್ಲದೆ ಅನುಭೋಗಿ ಗುಂಪುಗಳು ಅಂದರೆ ಮುಖ್ಯವಾಗಿ ಮೀನು ಹಿಡಿಯುವವರು, ಕಿರು ಅರಣ್ಯ ಉತ್ಪನ್ನ ಸಂಗ್ರಹ ಮಾಡುವವರು, ಕೃಷಿಕರು, ಈ ಥರದ ಎಲ್ಲ ಜ್ಞಾನ ಸಂಪನ್ನರು ಮತ್ತು ಅನುಭೋಗಿ ಗುಂಪುಗಳ ಪ್ರಾತಿನಿಧ್ಯವು ಕೂಡ 1/4 ಭಾಗದಷ್ಟು ಇರಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ನೋಡಿಕೊಳ್ಳುವಂತೆ ಇರಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಆಯಿತು.
ಒಂದನೇದು ರುಚಿ, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಹೂವಿನ ವೈಶಿಷ್ಟ್ಯ, ನಾವು ಯಾವುದಕ್ಕೆ ಅದನ್ನು ಉಪಯೋಗಿಸ್ಬೋದು, ಹೀಗೆ ಪರಿಸರದ ಪಾಠ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು ಅದನ್ನು. ಅದು ಆ ಜ್ಞಾನ ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಹಳ್ಳಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಮೂಲಿಕಾ ವೈದ್ಯ ಕಲಿತವರಿಗೆ ಅದು ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇದೆ. ಒಂದೇ ಜೀನಸಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ವಿಷ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಒಂದು ಹುಡಿ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಒಂದು ಸಿಹಿ ಇರ್ಬೋದು. ಅದರ ವ್ಯತ್ಯಾಸ ನಮಗೆ ರುಚಿ ನೋಡಿದ ಕೂಡಲೇ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ತದೆ, ಹೊರತು ಜೀನಸ ಹೇಳಿದರೆ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಇದು ನಾವು ಕಲಿತಂಥ ದಾರಿ. ಅದರ ಪರಿಚಯ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು ಹಾಗೆ, ಯಾವ ಸಮಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೂ ಆಗ್ತದೆ, ಹೂ ಯಾವುದಕ್ಕಾಗ್ತದೆ, ಹೂವಿನ ರುಚಿ ಏನು, ಆಹಾರವಾಗಿ ಬಳಸ್ತೇವಾ.
Simultaneously, attempts should be made to compile scientific information available on focal issues and habitats and species of interest to feed into plans of management and value addition. The next step in the process involves documentation of local geographic, social and economic setting. Since the PBR exercises are meant to support the activities of the biodiversity management committees in local bodies, the area under the jurisdiction of a Gram Panchayat or municipality would be an appropriate unit for this purpose. The details of information to be collected on the geographic, social, and economic setting would depend on the identified local issues. The information may include forest land, water bodies, customary management practices such as protection of sacred groves, human populations, livestock, cultivated lands, crops, labor cooperative societies, fish production, mining activities, sources of air, water and soil pollution, waterborne diseases, educational institutions, youth clubs, NGOs, and the like. The documentation of the geographical, social, and economic setting may be followed by depiction of the setting in terms of ecosystems or ecological habitats. An ecosystem is an interacting system of all living organisms and their physico-chemical environment. The ecosystems can be classified as mountain ecosystems, coastal ecosystems, agricultural ecosystems, island ecosystems, and the like. These ecosystems may be termed as landscapes for our purpose. Such landscapes are a complex mosaic of elements of many different types. In the Western Ghats tract, we may have landscapes such as evergreen forests, semi-evergreen forests, humid scrub, bamboo breaks, areca nut coconut orchards, paddy fields, streams, ponds, etc. In an urban area like Bangalore, the landscape elements may include habitation devoid of any vegetation, gardens, roads, lakes, etc. Any landscape is a mosaic of landscape or waterscape elements of many different landscape or waterscape element types.
ಗೋವಾ ರತ್ನಾಗಿರಿ ಕಡೆಯಿಂದ ಇಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ವಲಸೆ ಬಂದವರು. ಅದು ಸರಿಸುಮಾರು ಪೋರ್ಚುಗೀಸರ ಆಕ್ರಮಣ ಕಾಲ ಮತ್ತು ಔರಂಗಜೇಬನ ಮತಾಂತರದ ಕಾಲದಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಇಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಬಂದವರು. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಶ್ರಮಪಟ್ಟು ಈ ಜಾಗಗಳನ್ನು ನೋಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಈ ಜಾಗಗಳನ್ನು ಆಯ್ಕೆ ಮಾಡಿ ಸಹಜ ನೀರಿನ ಪ್ರವಾಹಗಳು ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಸಿಗ್ತದೆ ಅಂತೇಳಿ ನೋಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಗೋವಾದಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ದ ಹಾಗೇ ಇಲ್ಲಿಯೂ ನಮ್ಮ ಕೃಷಿ ಕೆಲಸವನ್ನು ನಮ್ಮ ಹಿರಿಯರು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದು. ಈ ಕಲ್ಲು ಗುಡ್ಡ ಪ್ರದೇಶ ಇದು ನಿಜವಾಗಿ ಕೃಷಿ ಸಹಜವಾದ ಪ್ರದೇಶ ಅಲ್ಲ.
Normally, people do have an intuitive mental picture of the landscape of their surrounding. They also have locally prevalent terms for many individual landscape elements like Kattige Kadiyada Betta, as well as generic terms for landscape element types. It is advisable to prepare an inventory of the landscape waterscape element types present and a sketch map as a participatory exercise. This documentation of the landscape waterscape may be followed by that of the lifescape or incidence of the species of cultivated plants and land races of domesticated animals of interest. The experience of preparing PBRs in 50 villages in several states of India shows that most people readily know of 200 to 300 different species. One of Karnataka's more knowledgeable barefoot ecologists is Kunjira Mulya, a landless laborer but a highly reputed dispenser of herbal medicines from the village of Mala on the slopes of Western Ghats of Karnataka. He can name about 800 different species of organisms from mushrooms and plants to ants, snakes, mammals, and can also offer good estimates of the local abundance of many of these species. But there is a need to translate such folk knowledge in terms of the more systematized, standardized scientific names. And it must be done with care to avoid any possible technical error. Such a technical support may have to be provided by organizations such as the National Bureau of Plant Genetic Resources and National Bureau of Animal Genetic Resources. In parallel with the efforts to ascertain scientific names, fieldwork and interviews will have to be initiated to collect local level information on the focal species. Also, documentation of people's knowledge with reference to the focal issues must be undertaken simultaneously. A variety of activities relating to decentralized planning for management of natural resources are already underway in different parts of the country. These include watershed development plans as also joint forest planning and management. These activities are complementary to PBR management plan preparation and should be properly coordinated.
10-15 ಮಕ್ಕಳ ಒಂದು ಬ್ಯಾಚ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ನಮ್ಮ ಸುತ್ತಮುತ್ತಲಿನ ಶಾಲೆಯ 1.5-2 ಕಿಲೋಮೀಟರ್ ಒಳಗಿರುವಂಥ ಭೌಗೋಳಿಕ ಪ್ರದೇಶದ್ದೊಂದು ನಕ್ಷೆ ಮಾಡಿ ಆ ನಕ್ಷೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಭೂ ಪ್ರದೇಶಗಳನ್ನು ಮತ್ತು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸಿಗುವಂತಹ ಸಸ್ಯಗಳನ್ನು ಎಲ್ಲ ಅದರ ಲೋಕಲ್ ನೇಮ್ ಆಮೇಲೆ ಅದರ ಸೈಂಟಿಫಿಕ್ ನೇಮ್ ಆಮೇಲೆ ಮಕ್ಕಳ ಅದರಿಂದ ಏನು ಪ್ರಯೋಜನ ಇತ್ಯಾದಿ ಇದರ ಮಾಹಿತಿಯನ್ನು ರೆಕಾರ್ಡ್ ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅದನ್ನು. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಕಾಡಿಗೆ ಹೋಗಿ ಕಾಡಿನಿಂದ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ನಿರ್ದಿಷ್ಟ ಸ್ಥಳಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಸಿಗುವಂಥ ವಿಶೇಷವಾದ ಸಸ್ಯಗಳ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಕೂಡ ಅವರು ವಿಜ್ಞಾನ ಅಧ್ಯಾಪಕರು ಮತ್ತು ಇಲ್ಲಿಂದ ನಮಗೆ ಮಾರ್ಗದರ್ಶಕರಾಗಿ ಬಂದಂತಹ ಮಾಧವ ಗಾಡ್ಗೀಳವರ ಇಲ್ಲಿನ ಪ್ರಾಜೆಕ್ಟಿಗೆ ಸಂಬಂಧಪಟ್ಟ ಅವರ ಸಹಕಾರವನ್ನು ಪಡೆದುಕೊಂಡು ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಮಕ್ಕಳನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ತೊಡಗಿಸಿದ್ದೇವೆ ನಾವು.
An interesting study conducted by a biology teacher, Mr. B.V. Kundappa, in support of the Karnataka Biodiversity Strategy and Action Plan shows how such broad plans may be elaborated. The study was an assessment of the medicinal plant resources of Nagavalli village Panchayat in Tumkur district. The study revealed that the community members had various suggestions to make regarding the medicinal plant resources. Some of the suggestions made by them were to create awareness regarding medicinal plants among people, to prepare a checklist of locally accessible medicinal plants, list the endangered and threatened plants, how to use the plants as medicine, place name boards over the trees with uses, arrange workshops on identification, uses and conservation, encourage work on cultivation and hybridization of these medicinal plants, develop gene banks to protect endangered plants, etc. The ultimate objective of the PBR exercise is to put in place a pattern of development compatible with the objectives of conservation and sustainable use of biodiversity and equitable sharing of benefits with the cooperation of all stakeholders.
Today we need to take a much broader view of biodiversity when thinking of how to manage it well. Over the years, technological developments have made it clear that all kinds of organisms are of potential value. For instance, pharmaceutical firms are today very interested in treating nervous disorders. And in that context, they are looking for poisons like those of spiders and scorpions, which may have influence on nervous systems because spiders and scorpion poisons act by affecting the nervous tissue of their prey. So some spider which we are all the time trying to get rid of, even in our own backyard, may turn out tomorrow to be of considerable economic value. So we must not think only of biodiversity as tigers or rhinoceros in jungles or Brahmaputra floodplains, but we must think of all biodiversity in all sorts of habitats, natural habitats as well as man-made habitats. This means that we must involve the whole mass of our people in taking good care of biodiversity, because biodiversity of value is everywhere. And the Biological Diversity Act is in fact attempting to do just this. It is trying to bring all people on board in management of biodiversity and in taking good care of biodiversity in their own environments, own localities. And India can build on many rich, good traditions of taking care of biodiversity, folk traditions such as sacred groves, managing village woodlots, as well as scientific traditions such as our well-rooted programs of national parks in this endeavor. Another important issue which we now have to be thinking of is not only biodiversity resources by themselves, but knowledge associated with biodiversity. Because adding value to biodiversity through biotechnological applications has become an important concern. And people too have knowledge of uses of biodiversity which is of substantial value. New pharmaceutical products like Jeevani, for instance, have been developed on the basis of knowledge of Kani tribals of Kerala of certain plants there, Arogya Pacha. Varieties like the Pattambi variety of rice, again from Kerala, turned out to be the one variety which was resistant to brown leaf hopper, a very important insect pest. And the gene in this local variety ended up saving crores of rupees. So we have knowledge, we have practices of local communities which also need to be taken care of, to be brought on board, but we need to protect them as well. We must make sure that this knowledge is simply not appropriated by commercial concerns, but there is an equitable sharing of benefits with the local communities. And Biological Diversity Act therefore specifically mentions conservation coupled to sustainable use and equitable sharing of benefits as its important objective.
The prospect of bringing together detailed locality and time-specific information on biodiversity collected from all over the country with the scientific information is an exciting one and promises to generate new levels of understanding. Such an enterprise would even lead to new ways of doing science.